What's up, guys? EDA here, and we've got another video for you. This time, we're going to be covering the Arsenal transfer window so far. I won't bore you with too many details, but the key headlines to talk about is Calafiori joining on a permanent deal for Arsenal. He will be coming in as a left back slash centre back for the team. We also have the introduction potentially of a Mikel Moreno, which is still being discussed. Apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano, we have agreed personal terms. Discussions with Real Sociedad, his club, are ongoing, and yeah, we are in flow. I guess it's been a long time to get to this period of time. Um, Obviously, with the Euros, it's made it a lot more difficult. Mikel has spoken about that, and we take that into consideration. Um, and so, from an Arsenal fan perspective, getting a little bit jittery around, oh, when are these signings coming in? Who's coming in? Are our main points from last season being addressed? One of those key points which we've mentioned, that left back position has been in flux. A lot of us were coming into the season thinking Timber would start there. I think from what Mikel has in his mind, using Timber as a potential replacement for Saliba when it comes to rotation, or Ben White is what I envision he's probably getting into the direction of now. Calafiori, from my opinion on how it looks, will take over that left back position. And so when we've also called out some of the other key areas, left centre mid was another one, or the sixth, someone who can play the 6/8, and finding a comfortable position for Declan Rice as well was one of the key discussion points. Mikel Moreno would fill in one of those roles, more of an 8, more of a box to box midfielder, has the strength, has the physical profile that Mikel likes. Um, and so it's going to be quite interesting. We've also been linked with Fabian Ruiz. That's one that hasn't been finalised or substantiated. Apparently, it'll be a loan with an obligation to buy, apparently. But if that's something that Arsenal could do, it would be amazing. Also, to talk about some of the outgoings, a lot of players who have left on free. So the likes of Mohamed El Neni, the likes of Cedric. You also had people leaving on loans with options and obligations to buy. Nuno Tavares, Sambi, Albert Lokonga, to name a few. Emil Smith Rowe is on the verge of leaving, going to Fulham. Uh, Most of those moves I don't really care about. Like, I'm happy that those guys are moving on to greater opportunities. They deserve to be playing. Arsenal deserve to clear up the squad and have efficiency within their playing squad, and that's what they're looking to do. Key thing to mention about the Smith Rowe one, love the guy, brilliant player, but again, as we spoke about when we were doing the team review and the tier list, quality player. I would have kept him potentially over a Fabio Vieira, but the Fabio Vieira is a guy that Mikel is looking at, and again, it's for him to justify it. But Smith Rowe moving on, Reece Nelson potentially moving on, Eddie Nketiah, there's been rumours of him to Marseille. Yeah, it looks like a lot of players will be moving on, and I think it's time for Arsenal to start bedding in the next generation of young players. We're seeing that in this preseason so far. We've seen the likes of Wanyeri coming into the team. We've seen the likes of Salah coming into the team. Lewis Skelly coming into the team as well. So there's lots of different changes that are happening. I think some of the older English players, homegrown players, potentially just need to move on, free up the squad, sign some elite homegrown players if you need to, elite talents where possible. And one of the key factors and key discussion points also with Arsenal fans has been around our academy products. We lost the likes of Walters. We lost Amario as well, to Brighton, who signed him on a free. Walters, who went to Luton on a free. And I guess the discussion has been, well, you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't call for academy players to be starting and coming into the team and having an impact and getting game time and still saying you want to sign X, Y, Z. And I definitely agree there needs to be a balance. But I do believe in a certain light, you kind of can have your cake and eat it, in my opinion. Because last season, I see no reason why Ethan shouldn't have been playing. 16, 17, doesn't matter. He looks ready. He looks ready. And so I think when you give opportunities to players that El Neni, he's not playing like there's game time you could give to the young players is what I'm trying to say. Give them the opportunities to make mistakes. Give them the opportunities to stake a claim, and hopefully he gets that this season. It's looking like he will get his chance, but not only for him, but again team wide. Losing quality players. We also had the loss of Chinedu Obi Martin as well, and that is a big loss to our rival Man United. Arsenal offering around 15k a week for the 16-year-old. Man United said we'll match that, we'll double that easily, and he's gone. And I can't blame him. If someone's gonna offer you double your salary, you're gonna sit down and say, "No, I love this." No, there's no guarantees in life, and he took the opportunity that he should have. But for Arsenal as a team, why are we losing our best players coming out of the academy? One, are they good enough to start and be in our team? At the moment, it only looks like one could stake a claim for our first team or be a regular fixture in our first team. The rest we've lost out on, and to a lot of players and to a lot of what previous players have said and their families. I'm looking at Amari Hutchinson's brother. that there's no pathway in Arsenal. They don't have a pathway for their academy players, and there's been a rumor going around the club, and that's probably caused a little bit of apathy. You look at the Amario deal where he's gone to Brighton, and we know that Mikel had stepped in and actually conducting some discussions with Amario previous to him leaving, and still he didn't stay. The opportunity to play, potentially start in the Premier League next season was great, and you're going to lose top quality talents, youth talents, but Arsenal need to have a system in place where if they're losing or they're going, we need to get money, because that money is going to be reinvested. It needs to be reinvested into transfers. It makes it a lot more difficult when you don't have those outgoings bringing in any revenue. So something to be aware of. In terms of the remaining transfers and what Arsenal need to do, I think in terms of the team and defensively, I think they're in a good position. I think the sale of Tierney, potentially Zinchenko, would be a benefit. If now we've got Calafiori, Kivior could go. If Kivior goes, potentially you give Zinchenko another year. You can't lose too many left backs. But if Tierney can go and get an opportunity elsewhere, I'm all for it, because I love the guy and I think he deserves the best, even with all of his injuries, which is quite difficult for anybody. So that would be my defence. Goalkeeper's fine. Ramsdale can go, but I want people paying the money. 30 million is too low for me. Arsenal are looking to get robbed on a lot of these deals, if I'm being honest with you. The Smith Rowe one is decent. I would have said a baseline of 30, not 27 mil, raising to 30 million, but pedantic. Just getting him out and getting those funds in it is key. But yeah, I would say defence looks good. Goalkeeper, Ramsdale, decent fee. Otherwise, keep him. I don't, or loan him, but with no option to buy unless it reaches a significant figure, or it has to be an obligation to buy with a guarantee figure which is high enough than 35 million, ranging to 40 in my opinion. Now we look at the midfield, and I think this is where the work needs to be done. The key question is, where is Declan Rice going to play? Is the 68 benefits in both cons, probably more in the 6. And I say this lightheartedly, like, he progresses the ball well, but he's not a line breaker, and that's not the job that's expected of him, because he's an elite breaker up of play, elite interceptor, elite defender. He started out as a centre back, that's his bread and butter. But he's also a really good passer, and I saw in the Euros that even though he's not going to find line breaking passes, he's going to progress the ball. He's going to get to those dangerous players and let them do what they need to do. But where's he going to play for Arsenal next season? I think if you're going to have him there needs to be a creative element and a line breaker and a true passer in that Arsenal midfield. And I'm not talking about Odegaard in terms of the attacking passes. I'm talking about the transitional passes and the passes which get the ball to Odegaard and get the ball to Saka and get the ball to Martinelli. Those passes to support the already good creative function that we have in place. And so I would say a minimum of 2 midfielders need to come in. When you understand that we've lost Mo, we're going to lose Emil Smith Rowe. We're going to lose who else are we losing? Mo, Emil Smith Rowe, and Sambi Albert Lokonga is also gone. 3 players gone. Bringing 2 back in and still cutting the fat would be good. However, you may still have a log jam, so maybe one would be Marino, but then Rice at the 6, potential issues that we had. But then you also have Thomas Partey. Is he going to leave? Yes, no, we don't know for sure. But so definitely something to look at. In attack, coming in, I always wanted either a hybrid winger slash striker forward who could contribute in both areas, or a dominant striker, or a winger who was world class. So the likes of a Nico Williams, of a Rafael Leao, of a Osimhen, of a Goskowitz, for example. Those level of players, it was what I was looking at. It doesn't seem like we're in much of a position with any of those. So we're going to keep my eye out to see what Arsenal are going to do, but it's definitely an area of interest for us for sure. But that's been a roundup of the transfer window so far. Leave your thoughts and opinions. Who should Arsenal be signing this transfer window? Who should they be avoiding as well? And what are your thoughts on the youth pipeline for Arsenal? They're losing a lot of quality players that are being picked up by other Premier League and high-level Championship teams. So what's your opinions? What should they be doing better? And guys, we will sync back up for more transfer news.